The Ugly Snake and the Beautiful Heron. Once, not far from a large shimmering lake, there was a small pond nestled quietly among the grass and trees. During the rainy season, when rivers overflowed and streams danced wildly, a group of little fish were swept out of their lake and found themselves stranded in that tiny pond. At first, the pond felt like an adventure: new sights, still water, and soft weeds to hide in. But as the days passed and the sun grew hotter, the water in the pond began to dry up. The fish started to worry. They needed to return to the lake soon, or they might not survive. One morning, a snake slithered quietly toward the pond. His scales were dull and uneven, his tongue flicked in and out, and his eyes looked a little strange. He wasn't pretty. In fact, most creatures avoided him just because of the way he looked. But the snake saw the fish struggling, and his heart stirred with kindness. He had lived near the lake his whole life. He knew the paths the water had once flowed, and he wanted to help. Gently, he approached the pond. But the fish didn't see kindness. All they saw was his rough, scaly body, and they turned away. He was too ugly, too scary. They didn't even listen. Not long after, something else appeared by the pond. A beautiful heron, with long legs and feathers that shimmered in the sunlight, landed gracefully beside the water. She looked calm, gentle, and wise. She didn't hiss or crawl. She stood tall and elegant. Without hesitation, the fish rushed to her, hopeful that she could carry them back to the lake. She seemed like someone they could trust. The heron smiled softly and opened her beak. One by one, she gently scooped up the little fish and flew off. The others waited eagerly, believing they would soon return home. But not all of them did. You see, the beautiful heron wasn't as kind as she seemed. On her way to the lake, she swallowed a few fish instead of saving them. To her, it was an easy meal dressed up as a good deed. Hidden in the grass, the ugly snake watched. He had suspected something was wrong, and now he knew. The next time the heron returned, something different happened. The snake moved quickly, confronting her before she could take more fish. There was a quiet struggle beneath the trees, feathers flying, grass rustling, and then the heron was gone. The pond was silent again. The fish, who had seen everything, were frightened. But the snake didn't hiss or lunge. Instead, he carefully slithered to the edge of the water and waited. Slowly, he found a way to carry the remaining fish, a few at a time, to a deep, cool well not far from the pond. It wasn't the lake, but it was safe, clean, and full of water. And more importantly, it was filled with life. The fish were finally safe. And the snake? He didn't ask for thanks. He simply disappeared into the grass, content to know he'd done the right thing. Sometimes, what we see on the outside can trick us. Beauty can hide bad intentions, and what looks ugly may hold the kindest heart. That's why we must always remember, don't judge someone based on how they look, because looks can be deceiving.